What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We back here on a Friday, and we talking about the new head coaching hires. I'm gonna give them grades, and I'm gonna put a little bit of my insight onto it. Um, but I told you I'd be back on Friday, and here we are. So the first guy I'm gonna be touching on is Aaron Glenn, the new Jets head coach. And the grade I gave this was an A minus. So that's still pretty good. The only reason it's not an A for me is because I thought they should have possibly went in another direction. I like him as a coach. I just thought they should have went offense because Salah didn't work. We're not gonna talk about Adam Gase because he was really bad. He was just bad. But I thought they should look at the offense because that's where the real problem is. The defense is just being working regardless. But Aaron Glenn. So a little bit about Aaron Glenn. He was a former NFL cornerback, and he played for the Jets. And I think that's what made him want to go there. He wanted to fix something he probably loves, an organization he loves. And it made sense for him to go back. If they wanted him, he was going to take it. So he's been coaching in the NFL since 2014. He was an assistant defensive back coach for the Cleveland Browns back then. Then he moved on to the Saints, where he met Dan Campbell. And they went to Detroit together in 2021. So when we look at Aaron Glenn's defense, they've performed very well over the past 3 years. The first year in Detroit was a little iffy, and that wasn't really on him. I think it's a new role. That's one thing, but then two, the team wasn't really good. The talent was very limited on that roster. And him and Dan Campbell, along with Brad Holmes and Ben Johnson eventually, had to build up that roster to be where it is now. One of the best rosters in the league. And he's done enough, in my opinion, to earn a head coaching job. I'm very happy for him. He's 52, turning 53 this year. So he's a little bit on the older side for what people look for nowadays, but I see no problem with it. As long as he can bring a culture from Detroit into New York, help sustain that. Try to replicate it in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying do exactly what Dan Campbell did. You're not biting kneecaps off, right? I think the one problem with a lot of Bill Belichick's coaching tree going elsewhere was they all tried to be Bill. And when you try to be someone, you're not being yourself. And the best thing you can do is be yourself in these roles. Because people will see through that. They'll see that you're not who you say you are. You're a poser. So as long as he sticks to his philosophies, he stays true to himself, gets the right people on his staff. The Jets have a good roster. The quarterback, Aaron hasn't been the best for them. But if they figure that quarterback situation out and he does the right thing as the head coach, they can get in the playoffs. Because I believe they have a better roster than the Dolphins and the Patriots right now. It just needs the right coach and it needs the right quarterback, the right leader. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a good leader. And Aaron, he could push the tide forward for them. So we're going to move into the second guy now. Ben Johnson, his counterpart, his offensive coordinator while he was in Detroit. So I guess these guys had a lot of battles, trying to push each other to be better. And it's worked because these were the best two candidates you could have got to be your head coach coming into the next season. I give Ben Johnson an A because he was wanted league-wide. It wasn't just Chicago who was eyeing him. And the Patriots interviewed him. The Jaguars interviewed him. And I believe the Raiders. And last year he was a hot commodity as well. And he backed out of the Commander's job. And now they beat him. So that's really great. That's really funny. That's why. That's the last game he did with the Lions. The team that he could have went to. beat him. But Ben's a good hire. And the A is more towards Chicago getting him than Ben Johnson himself. Um, People wanted this guy, and you gave him what he wanted. He had the pick of the spread. So he said, you offered me this, you offered me this, you offered me this. But, I'm going to choose Chicago. And Chicago has a lot of good pieces in place. They just need to fix that O-line. And once they get that situated, they can be successful. I see some good traits in Caleb Williams. I'm not going to talk about his personality, his leadership skills. His actual quarterback talent is evident. If you get him a good O-line, because he has the weapons. You're talking about Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Roma Dunze, DeAndre Swift. He has abundance of weapons. Whereas Drake May, he didn't really have much. Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Ramondre Stevenson, and then switchy O-line, man. Like, every week we had a different starting O-line group, so that was dangerous for him. Because you want people to be accustomed to what you're saying, your cadences, all that. And if you're rotating guys in and out each week, they have to adjust to Drake. So that's why these jobs are wanted, though, because of these quarterbacks they have. I want to work with Caleb Williams. I want to work with Jaden Daniels. I want to work with Drake May. And Ben saw this as the second best opportunity he could take. They have a really good roster. The ownership is a little iffy, but if he can figure out how to get this thing to work together, get the right time management skills, because Eberflus struggled with that. Hire the right guys to come with him. Chicago can compete in the NFC North next season. Next guy, Mike Vrabel, A+. I'm not being biased when I say I'm giving it an A+, because you see the shirt, Patriots. I'm a Patriots fan. So you're assuming you're just giving it an A+ because he's on your team. No. This guy, if he went to any team, I would have given it an A+. Because guess what? He was experienced in the role. Everyone who's coming in from a DC, OC, or even college, if you're coming in that capacity as the new head coach of an NFL team, I value the experience in the role, especially if you did well. If Vrabel was really bad in his time in Tennessee, I wouldn't have wanted him. But he did really well, and he got fired due to disputes and disagreements with the front office and the ownership. So he's coming to a spot where he's comfortable, where he knows who's in charge, and he's ready for this role. He's proven, he's won, and I think he's bringing in the right guys to help build up the roster. You see, they've hired Josh McDaniels to be the OC. He's been the OC for the Patriots twice, and during those spans, he's looked very well. He's looked very good. And it's gotten him head coaching jobs. He's not a head coach. And it hasn't worked out for him in that capacity. So you bring him back into a role where he's succeeded and excelled. And he's not going anywhere. He won't be going anywhere unless Mike screws it up royally and he gets fired. I don't think Josh is going anywhere because I don't think anyone wants him in that capacity again. So you have stability, consistency, and continuity with Drake May after this season. He's going to have a guy who's going to be with him for a while. And sometimes that's what a young quarterback needs in this league. So Mike Vrabel, A+, great coach, great hire, great culture dude. And he's bringing in the right guys to join him on his staff. So my fourth guy is Joe Brady. And this isn't confirmed yet. This is the only one we don't know if it's actually going to happen, but I think he's the guy that the Saints will be choosing. And if they do so, I'll give it a B-. And it's not due to who Joe Brady is or what Joe Brady's done. It's more about the Saints themselves. I think they've had the longest vacancy, or the second longest vacancy so far in this coaching cycle, where they fired the coach in the season and, they're looking for a guy now. They've taken too long. and they're missing out on the best possible candidates because they've taken too long on it. So Joe Brady is 36 this year. He's gonna turn 36, and he's been in the NFL for about 4 years. He started in Carolina as their offensive coordinator. That didn't really go well. Carolina wasn't very good back then, and I think he wasn't ready for that role because he just got that role based off what he had done as the passing game coordinator and the wide receivers coach at LSU the year before, and he got put in a bad offense. And then after that, he got a chance with the Buffalo Bills to be their quarterbacks coach. Then Ken Dorsey, I believe, got fired, and he became the OC. And he's done well in the OC role. But he's very young. He's not really been a leader, perhaps. And he's only had one season of true success calling plays. So I don't know if he's the right choice for the Saints, but I think he's a decent choice for the Saints. So now, the next guy, Pete Carroll. He just got hired to be the Raiders head coach, and I'm giving this a C. Pete Carroll is not a bad coach. Pete Carroll is old, and that's why he's getting a C. You can do a lot better than Pete Carroll now. How long is Pete Carroll going to be your head coach for? And that is where my concerns and my questions arise from. Are you sure this is the right guy for the role? He's being a good head coach. I'll give him that. He might be able to provide some stability where, like, you have a guy that you respect and someone who knows what they're doing. He's extensively being a good coach. He has a really deep history and a good record of being a head coach, you know. He started all the way back in 1973 at Pacific University, and he coached till 2023 as a head coach at the Seahawks. So he's a proven commodity, but I don't know if he's a long-lasting commodity. He's kind of like Bill Belichick, where it's like, yes, they had their time, but how long will you have them with you? How long is your window of opportunity with Pete Carroll? And the roster is not good enough for me to say, are you sure this is the right guy to bring in? Because I think he's a winner, and this roster is not equipped to win right now. That's what I have to say on that. Brian Schottenheimer, Marty Schottenheimer's son. He's now the head coach of the Cowboys, or he's soon to be the head coach. D. Cowboys butchered this because they had so much time to just say, I don't want Mike McCarthy, or I want Mike McCarthy. And they just dragged it, and they dragged it, and then they dragged it, and then he just said, I think he was just like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't think the Cowboys fans really wanted him back, but I think they'd much rather have him back now because this guy's going to be the head coach. I think he's not ready. I don't think he's equipped. I don't think he's the right option. He sucks. He sucks at his job. I don't know if this is a personality hire. I don't know him personally. So I don't know if he's just a really good leader or a really good people person. And that's why he keeps getting these jobs. Because his offenses haven't been very good. He's been an OC since 2006 with the Jets. And he's never not been an OC coach since then, really. He did 2 years as a quarterback coach in Indianapolis. He was a quarterbacks coach again with the Jaguars in 2021. And then he became a consultant with the Cowboys. And now he's been the OC for 2 years. The first year as the OC went well. But now, no. If you've been an OC since the age of 33, and you are now 51 turning 52, and you haven't been a head coach yet, I don't think you're very good at your job. I don't think you're worthy of the job. The difference between him and Aaron Glenn is Aaron Glenn hasn't been coaching as long as this guy. Aaron Glenn has had a steady, rapid rise to where he is, and he's gotten successful in his role. Brian Schottenheimer has not been very good at his role. I think he might possibly be just a Nepo baby. because of his dad. His dad was a really good head coach. And I don't know if his dad's knowledge of being a head coach is going to go into his brain and make him a better coach all of a sudden. But this is not the guy you wanted. I think you fell back on him, and this is due to Jerry's incompetence. And he's like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's old. I don't know if he's getting senile or something. But the Cowboys need to think about telling Jerry to step back. Let Steven run the show, if anything. Because he keeps doing these bonehead things. Last offseason, not getting a running back. Then signing Zeke. And then getting rid of Zeke. Your starting running back was Rico Dowdle. You could have drafted someone. You could have signed Derrick Henry because he wanted to come to your team. Like, Cowboys, let's just move past them. Last guy, Liam Coen. He is now the Jaguars head coach after a little bit of a merry-go-round twirl with them where he said, I don't want to go. I'm going to stay at the Bucs and get a big extension. And then they fired Trent Baalke, which they should have done 5 years ago or whatever, because he's horrible at his job. And then he says, okay, I'll come. Because it was really just him. He was my problem. And now he's gone. I'm willing to join you. They have a good roster. Not really. It's a decent roster. And they have some good pieces. Trevor is a talent. And if he has the right people around him, I think he can be great. He was labeled generational for a reason. And I think Liam may be able to get that out of him. He's done well in the recent years as an OC. He was in Los Angeles with the Rams, and he's been in Tampa and at Kentucky. But I really want to mainly point out his time in Los Angeles because he spent time with Sean McVay. And Sean McVay has a very good coaching tree. People who come out of his coaching staff turn out to be pretty decent head coaches. Kevin O'Connell is a really great example of that. And then he went and he teamed up with Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is a really good defensive coach. He's not the best head coach. If you learn a little bit about defense from Todd Bowles and you incorporate that to where you're going, I think you can be slightly successful in that aspect. Liam Coen, B higher for me because of what happened. And then the fact that you don't know how good of a head coach he can be. OC is a really good guy at that. So I want to see it come out of him. I want to see him excel. And if he's able to excel, this can go from a B to an A+. But right now it's a B because it's unknown. You don't know how he's going to operate in the role. You don't know his personality. I don't know his personality in that role. I don't know if he's a leader like that. But I know he does a good job at calling plays and running the offense. And I think he can be a tremendous addition to the Jaguars and to Trevor Lawrence's development. That's all I got today. All I got for you today. Thank you for coming out and watching another video. Subscribe, like, comment, share your opinion. Tell me what you think about these hires. Tell me if you think I'm wrong about your team's hiring. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.